Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today back to working on the metal planer restoration, and today's task is going to be able to move this countershaft up top in order to get some clearance for some belts. If you've been following along the restoration, you know that we realized that we had to do some changing around to our pulley arrangement, and in the process of that, we have some interference up here in the current position of the countershaft. Now, and I'm going to go ahead and mention this, I've talked about it also in previous videos, but where I've got this countershaft mounted to the machine is not how it would have been originally done. That countershaft would have been mounted up in a ceiling. It would have been powered by a line shaft that would have been powered by, steam engine, water wheel, who knows what, back in the day. In order to get this machine to be self-contained, I decided to mount the countershaft to the machine itself, and that way I don't have to worry about, if I decide to move the machine, sell the machine, etc., of having to go get parts down out of a ceiling and move them around, or mounting motors up in the ceiling and so forth like that. The machine becomes self-contained. However, in the process of doing all that, I didn't have my pulleys set up properly. I realized that after we started putting under power, and I realized I have a clearance issue now. So no big deal. All we're gonna do is we're just gonna slide that countershaft back about 5 inches, and that should give me all the clearance I need. And to do that, up here on these brackets, we're just gonna basically sandwich a plate of steel between the countershaft and this bracket that extends out, drill some new holes, move everything back, and I think we're going to be good to go. So that's going to be what we're going to be working on today, is moving that countershaft around. Now, when I installed this countershaft, I did it one piece at a time, put the brackets up there, put the shaft on there, put the pulleys on there, so it was fairly easy to manage. Right now, I want to be able to basically keep it in one assembly. So I brought my gantry crane in. I've got it over the planer, and we've got a strap on there. And my plan is we're just going to unbolt those 4 bolts that hold those brackets in place, and using the gantry crane, I can just pick the whole assembly up and just kind of move it out of the way temporarily while we position and get the new plates in place, and then we can just come drop it all back in place, and hopefully that's the way it's going to go. So I just wanted to kind of show you there the gantry crane. We got a strap in there, should be able to just pick it up. I got the shaft off center because there's more weight on the right-hand side on your screen there, so hopefully that'll help balance it out. It's probably still going to be heavy on that right side, but that should help balance it out a little bit. All right, let's get up there and pull those bolts off and see if we can get this thing off. I'm going to cheat a little bit here and use a impact gun here to pull these bolts apart. Make easy work of this, hopefully. There's one bolt out. Let's get this one in. Do the same thing on the other side. Note we had some tension on this whole thing before I unbolted these parts down here, and that way, if for some reason something shifted or whatever, it wouldn't have fallen. But now, plan is here is just pick this whole assembly up. My chain's catching down in the table below. There we go. I want to raise it up high enough to clear everything to the front. We're just going to roll the gantry crane forward and just kind of get it out of the way for right now. And I think that is going to work right there. Pull that chain out of the way. All right, that should be out of the way, and we'll just let it hang out up there while we're working on the rest of this. I've got my 2 plates here that we're going to be mounting up there to extend that platform. These are 27 inches long and 7 inches wide, and basically they're same width and they're 5 inches longer than the plates that were built into that bracket. So what I need to do is I need to have holes for the holes that are currently in there, as well as the holes for the new holes that we're going to make. So I've measured the ones up there, and the first hole is 3.5 inches from the end, and then from there, the other hole that we have on here, what was it? Let me go double check that measurement. I think it was 15 inches, but I want to measure twice, cut once. All right, I was correct. It was 15 inches. So put a mark there. And the next thing I want to do is I want to put a new set of holes 5 inches out farther from the original one. So we'll go at 5 inches and again at 15 inches. And 3.5 inches in this direction. Just going to center punch these holes. I got some wiggle room in these. They're drilled just a little bit oversized so I can get everything lined up. So I'm not worried about super precision measurements here. Everything will work fine. So these holes need to be drilled out 3/4 of an inch, I think is what I had them. And I think on this hole here, I'm going to do a countersunk hole in here where the head of the bolt that I bolt to will be below the surface. And I think that's going to be a 3/8 inch bolt. That's the thickness of this plate, is a 3/8 inch. So I need to go see if I can source me some of those, and we'll come back and get these holes drilled. All right, we'll be back in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and drill all 4 of these holes 3/8 inch, and then 3 of them I need to come back and do a 3/4 inch hole. One of them that's going to have the countersunk screw in it will stay 3/8. So I've got my radial drill. We're set at 750 RPMs. I'm going to slow down my feed right here. We'll get lined up on that, engage our auto feed, and let it just drill down through there. Same thing on all 4 holes. It's got one of them done. We go grab the other one, we'll do it too. For the 3/4 inch hole, I'm going to use a taper shank drill bit. So we need to take our chuck out of here. I'll just use a drift. Drop that out. We'll put our drill bit in here. Here we go. And that's a 3/4 inch bit. See, my chart here says spindle speed 407. So let's see, we'll go to 350 right there. Slow that bit down some. Drop that back down closer. And one. Two. And we're going to skip the one hole. I put a circle on it where I knew which one I wanted to skip. got a countersinking tool in there, and first thing I'm going to do is just deburr all these holes, and we're going to countersink. That's a 3/8 inch hole for the countersunk head on it. So we'll just come in here and just touch all these lightly. That'll just break any edges on them. Doesn't take a whole lot, but we just want to deburr those holes more than anything else. And flip it over to the other side here, do the same thing. And then on this one, we're going to countersink it. So this one gets a little pressure on it. So you can see the countersunk hole. There is our screw that'll go down in there, and that'll make the top of this flush with the top of the piece of metal. And basically we'll be clamping down the new holes that will be used for the upright piece. The bracket will be this one and this one, but having that out of the way, it's not going to interfere with anything sticking up top of the metal, because there's a piece that goes across the bottom that it would interfere with if we had a regular bolt in there. So that's the whole concept with using that. These are pretty much ready. I'm going to get them cleaned up, get them painted. I'll probably let the paint dry overnight, and we'll probably install these tomorrow over there on the machine. So there you go. I'll do the painting off camera. So we're over here on top of the planer, and I got my plate ready to go down here. This should line up with two of the existing holes. And it looks like it does. I'm going to go ahead and bolt down the old holes here. The ones we're not going to use. This will get the plate positioned where it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and get these kind of put down in there. I'm just using a regular bolt on the front. The front here, we have that countersunk screw that goes in there. That will be down below flush. So let me get this one going. Put a wrench on the bottom there. We'll tighten this one down. Okay. And I've got a wrench here. We'll grab the nut from the bottom, and this one's just got a hex drive Allen wrench, and that's nice and flush on the top. Okay, so I've got two more holes in here that will be where we mount the brackets to, but one of them's got to be drilled through the old plate. The other one will be out here on the end. So to do that, got a 3/4 inch transfer punch. This should be the same size as the hole. So now that we got a center punch in here, I'm just going to use a hand drill. I got a 3/8 inch drill bit in here. We're going to drill it through and then come back with a 3/4 inch drill bit for clearance there. All right, so let me change drill bits. Go to a 3/4 inch drill, slow it down a little bit. There we go. Hold all the way through. And with that, this plate is ready to go. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, and we should be able to drop our brackets back down on here and have our countershaft moved. And we're now ready to move the countershaft back in place. So get over here and jiggle this gantry around. Let's shift this over a little bit and come down. And that looks pretty good. Go ahead and drop some bolts down in here to pin this in place. And with that, I think we're ready to tighten this in place. So let me get my socket in here. And with that, I think we got her. I'm going to go ahead and take my strap off. We're done with the gantry now. This is back where it needs to be and sitting where it needs to be. So we'll get the strap out of here. All right, the countershaft has been repositioned. All right, so we have things partially belted back up. I'm not completely belted back up, but we do have things partially going here. I've got the belt going to the main countershaft up there, and then we have the belt on this side, which is the reverse stroke, the table going out. And if you look, the table is all the way out. I actually ran it all the way out just so that I could get access up underneath here. So I did that off camera when I was checking everything out just a minute ago. I've still got to get a belt on the other side over there, and just the reason I don't have one on there right now is that because I had to move the countershaft, all of my belts grew a couple of inches in length. And by the time I changed things around and worked out which belt was going to be, I've got enough belting to put on the other side, but I was going to have to splice together about 3 or 4 pieces to get everything to work out right. And instead of that, what I'm going to do is I've just ordered a new piece of belting to go on that one side over there, just so I don't have so many lacings in my flat belts. But this side is working, and I'm sure as soon as we get the other side going, we'll get that going as well. Also, I need to fix this little shifter in here that adjusts the belt shifter back here to go from the forward and reverse. That's next on my agenda, is to get that fixed, and really I need to get that fixed before I can get all of my belts and pulleys and everything set exactly where they need to go. But good news is it's working. Everything looks good. We've got all the clearance over here we need. Whenever the belt shifter, I'm just doing this by hand, but when it moves in, all that racket is the gear train down there moving. I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but the big bull gear here is moving, and that's what pushed the table out. I actually moved it out under power, so all that looks good. And I'm happy with how all this is looking right now. So we'll get the other belt on there, and like I said, we'll get these pieces down here all worked out, and hopefully we'll have this thing running here very, very soon. That's going to be the game plan. Keep your fingers crossed. But I think that is going to be it for moving the countershaft. Like I said, we do have one more belt to put on, but we'll get that knocked out, no big deal. And got to braze this broken part. So that's what I'm about to go start working on now. Guys, that's going to be a wrap. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thumbs up, comments appreciated. Hit the bell icon up there to get notifications of new videos. And guys, we will catch you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.